Hey everyone, welcome to a brand new episode of the Top 10 Show. I am John Roca.
I am Matt Nost, and I don't know about you, but the weather's nice today. It's low 70s. It's a beautiful day. Most of the rest of the country is suffering through some form of winter, and well, we don't have to do that here. God bless.
Although I do miss it, I will say. I mean, seeing some of the clips from the news people that are out there, it's nice to see the snow.
It is.
I rarely get snow in California, so I miss it a little bit. But yeah, it's nice. The weather's been nice. Although it was cloudy last week for a majority of the week. Now it's kind of, you sense that we're making that turn into the hotter days of summer here in California.
You know what's fun? So I missed the snow too, but as we've talked about before, it's who doesn't love the snow coming down? It's the snow that sits there for 3 weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
It sucks. But the best is if you ever happen to, I know you don't do it, you don't ski, but any kind of mountain town, if you're there for a decent amount of time, when it snows, it puts everybody in a good mood.
Really?
Oh, well, because it just means the mountain is open, will attract more people. It only helps. So we're going to have more tourists in here, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
You know, it's like, it's an inconvenience. You got to drive over here, but hey, fresh snow.
Right.
But yeah, in the city, like I miss it. Who doesn't miss it? I miss seasons on some level, but at the same time, it's 74 degrees outside right now. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah. People don't know this, but like maybe some people don't live in California. Like there are areas maybe an hour outside of Los Angeles where it's covered in snow, where it's got snow year round almost, and you can go skiing, or as Matt said, skiing or whatever you want to do out there. So there are plenty of towns in the, the high, about an hour, 2 hours outside of Los Angeles where it's snow almost all year round. Yeah.
After last week's massive rain.
Oh, yeah.
All you got to do is get over to the 5 and you look out to the mountain range behind Glendale, Burbank, all that jazz. Yeah. There's snow across the peaks over there.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like that's right there. But yet today here it's 68 degrees or whatever it was last week.
Right.
Yeah, you got it all a little bit. A little bit. There are downsides. You got to deal with some other bullshit, trade-offs in life.
It's true. I walked out the other day and there was hail on the car. There was, I just took a picture of it because I was like, this is awesome. I've never seen hail. I didn't think I'd get hail in Southern California, rather. I rarely see it. So I saw it in San Diego. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. This is great.
To put it in perspective, this is how rare thunderstorms are in Southern California. Thunderstorm, where you hear, you feel, you know what I mean? Something you used to get, I'm sure, in the East Coast. And I got in the Midwest. Just big, thundering, massive, booming. That shit doesn't happen here. We get rain occasionally, but we don't get thunderstorms.
Right.
The first one I experienced, I've been living in San Diego for like a year and a half. And me and my buddy, he was from Texas, and it had been years living in Southern California since he had felt like where you feel it. It shakes the windows and shit.
Yeah.
So we were, it was like 3 in the morning. We're drunk and we just took our drinks and we went out and stood in the rain and just felt, because it was calming.
Yeah.
It's like hearing crickets. I don't hear crickets in LA.
Yeah.
If you're out in nature, something you just hear crickets in the middle of the summer. You're like, oh, that's kind of, it's nice.
Yeah. I love it when it's like that. I love when it's overcast. I love when it rains. Like last week when it was happening, while Lindley was, she went to go take care of her sister's dog for a few hours. I just opened the sliding glass door in the living room. We have the canopy above it, and just listen to the rain.
Hell yeah.
So none of the water would come inside. I could just listen to the rain out in the backyard, and it was so sweet. It was so nice. I was like so peaceful, man. She hates the rain, but I love it. Love it to death, man.
Yeah, we got a couple of drainage issues at our house that will be fixed up, and slowly but surely it's kind of one of those things. So I love the rain, but then it does make me sit there and go like, oh, the water's going to puddle over there. You just feel so old, and you're like, and then I'm going to have to deal there. Preemptively, I had to do a couple things to try and mitigate the water standing in the area, and just like, mother.
Like,
yeah, just like, this is basically adulthood is worrying.
Yeah. Yes. That's all it is.
It is. It's a lot of worrying. It's I can only imagine having kids on top of that.
Oh, no, we're not doing that.
Worrying about the life of another human being at all times, 24/7. That's draining.
No, thanks. No offense to anybody who does have kids. Much respect.
No, not at all.
Too much.
Yeah. I hope they're worth it.
Yes. I just agreed.
Because this is already hard enough without it.
Yeah, sure.
I know it's got its rewards.
At least I've
But
heard. At least
yeah,
I've heard.
exactly. But every parent I know, there are days when they want to throttle their kids.
Yeah, true.
Like, I can only think of how, looking back, how big a dick you were. Like, I remember when I was 7 and I threw a tantrum for no reason. I couldn't figure out why I was doing it. I was just mad. So it's, and you're like, can you imagine dealing with that? I don't specifically remember. I'm just saying, if you took the time to think about it, be like, oh, what about, or if my parents brought up, do you remember the time you did that? I wanted to fucking kill you for that. Just like, I forgot about that.
I feel like nothing makes you appreciate your parents more than becoming a parent and realizing, Jesus, how did you ever?
Or at least an adult. You're just like, man, how did you deal with?
Oh yeah,
dude. When I was super little, for like a couple months or something, when I was really young, I have no memory of this, and my memory goes back. I got some as early as 4 or 5.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's pretty good. But my mom was like, after you learn to walk, you used to go down to the fridge and get food and put it under your bed.
Just in case if I get hungry.
I don't have any recollection. She said I took a side of beef out, or not beef, pardon me, of bacon. And I had that just fully wrapped under my bed. And that's the one I remember. And there was a couple other examples. And I was like, I'm not saying she wanted to throttle me for that, but there's all kinds of stuff you do as a kid that you have no real, your brain is firing so many synapses.
Well, it's smart because you go, look, if I get hungry in the middle of the night, I don't want to get up and walk down all those stairs. I'll just reach under the bed.
True. How did you know that I was in the attic? That's where my bedroom was.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. For me, our bedroom was upstairs.
Oh.
So the refrigerator was downstairs. And so that's what we would have to do, is go downstairs to get the food and then come back up to go back to our room.
Oh, yeah.
I just assumed as much. My bad. Yeah. Maybe
I was in they carpeted and threw up some really crappy, like vinyl fake wood paneling. And my brother and I had rooms up in the attic. I loved it. It was great.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, but I mean, it was just these the narrow, tiny little stairs that went up, and we had the attic, and this, like, it was made for kids. It wasn't tall enough in certain areas and whatnot. It's just this sloped roof, and it worked.
Wow. There was a floor on it. Is that what there was a floor in the attic?
Yeah.
It wasn't like those like you see in Christmas Vacation where he's up there like falling through the hole.
Well, I mean, every floor looks like that.
Oh, I see. Right.
So yeah, those are just joists. I mean, there's different flooring for a ceiling, obviously, slightly, but that style that you're seeing where studs are laid out every so often, that's every floor.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I didn't know that then, but no,
right.
it was a regular, like, there was wood on. It was an old house. It was when I lived in West Virginia. I think that's when it was either there or Maryland, but
right.
House was like 100 and some odd years old.
Wow.
I'm sure you lived in Virginia around a ton of houses that were 100, 200, 250 years old.
I don't know. Around them, yes. Ours, I don't think was, because we had moved once, because we lived in a townhouse.
Sure.
In Falls Church. And then when we moved out to a house in Dale City, Virginia, it was still a up and coming development. So it was still new. And so I think the houses weren't that old, because I remember my dad bought the house for $46,000 in 1979.
And now it's worth, I'm just going to guess, 455.
Yeah, something like that. 455. I mean, if I was able to, if my mom and my brother ever moved out, and we had some, so we could use some of them, I would absolutely get that thing fully remodeled and totally sell it.
Yeah, exactly.
It would make so much money. It would make so much money.
Hire some guys, come in.
Because it's paid off. The house is paid off.
Yeah. Invest in a couple things that are just modern, like update the countertops, new appliances.
Yes, all of it. Yeah.
All that shit. Mostly cosmetic. The bones of the house are still good to go.
Yeah. Well, my mom's a bit of a hoarder, so is my brother. So that would be the situation there. I was watching Hoarders the other day. I don't watch that show. It's not my show. It gives me anxiety. It frustrates the piss out of me, because I know my mom, my brother are like that. So, but Lindley happened to be watching it, and I sat down, and this woman had 3 houses in Florida, just floor to ceiling, multiple levels, every room full of shit. 3 houses. Two houses weren't even full of anybody living in them. They just were houses that she had. And they came and tried to, like, because she was violating the code or whatever. And they were charging her $250 or $500 a day for all the shit per house that she had not gotten rid of in the backyard, inside the house. It was madness to watch. And they had those 1-800 get junk trucks, 9 of those trucks for one house, and they barely made a dent in what she had in there. Dude,
I mean, you recently moved. Think how much of a truck you filled up and you don't have near that much shit. So 9 trucks sounds like a lot, but it's just like, dude, it was packed to the rafters.
Yeah.
It's not even.
I moved half my shit in my fucking Prius on 2 trips. The other stuff was moved with Lindley's other stuff in the one moving truck. You know, I like to keep it because of my brother and my sister. I'm like, I cut all the time, dude, because it drives me nuts to hold on to shit. It drives me insane. So.
I know. I agree. Once you get used to just cutting and just like, I'm sorry, I'm moving on. I've moved enough times. Yeah. This sucks. I never look at it. I never use it. It just takes up space in a box sitting somewhere and I don't fucking need it.
Yeah.
It hurts to give up, but it's just like,
Do I really need to drag around these mementos so that I can look at it when I'm 80 years old one time and remember? No, But
some people, they operate the other way.
Yeah.
Just can't live without. Yeah. These things all have, sentimental value to me.
Yeah. It's almost like a blanket. It's almost like a blanket.
Yeah.
Like this huge blanket that they're putting around themselves. So it was wild to watch that on the show.
I've seen a couple of those, and it's kind of one of those, I get it, but I can understand if it's your thing. It's meat and potatoes for you. It's, it knows what it is and it delivers it quite well. It's just not my cup of tea.
Yeah, either is mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I tried watching, Your Honor. I'm 2 episodes into that, and that.
Oh, the Cranston one.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think?
I'm sure it's good. It's the first TV show that I can, after 2 episodes, I literally was like, I don't think I can take this.
Wow. What you mean, like, because it's not good, or because what they're dealing with is
what they're dealing with emotionally? It's a war on like 5 fronts.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, for Cranston, and just like, oh my God, there's nothing, man. This whole season is going to be struggle. And I don't know. It's so defeating. It's like every single character is destroyed in this movie. Every single one. You're like, oh Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah. And there's one pivotal thing that happened. And you're just like, oh man. Wow.
I know. I saw the trailer. It looked interesting. But if you're saying,
I heard
war on 5 fronts. Oof. Yeah.
Let me think about it. 1, 2, potentially there 3. Yeah, he's got 4 to 5 different things that he's dealing with.
Right.
And then he just compounded and added some more at the end of the last episode. And you're like, all right, man. Just a masochist, apparently. I understand what you're doing, but Jesus. Yeah, it sucks. But I'm sure if you stick with it, the payoff is probably going to be worth it.
Yeah. Did you guys finish Miss Scarlet and the Duke?
Yeah. Done. It was good.
Yeah, it was good. Lindley was like, it wasn't her favorite, but I enjoyed it. I liked the lead girl, the lead actress, and the girl from Peaky Blinders, and the dude was good. I thought it was good for what it was. Yeah.
Not quite a Sherlock.
Yeah, right.
More of an everyday type of thing. There's something there.
Yeah. We've jumped onto the 2nd season of The Bay. That's come back on BritBox. Loving that. If you haven't seen The Bay, it's damn good. Yeah, it's a good British one to watch.
No, tried Resident Alien. It's all right. Let's stick with it for a little while. Tudyk's great. That's the whole reason I tuned in.
Is he funny? Is he good on the show? Is the show good, or is it kind of not good, but he's good?
He has firm control of his character.
Okay.
There's a ton of actors I've never seen before playing the other parts. Oh. And I can't tell how good some of them are because a couple characters are one note, but it's been 1 episode.
Yeah.
So, and it's, it's not going to be too deep.
Right.
There's some lighter hearted comedic moments, but
right.
I don't know. There could be something there.
Okay. All right.
I'm struggling to find new TV right now. So. So it's fine. I'll give it a whirl for a little while.
Yeah. I don't know what we're gonna do. I mean, we're back on the Law and Order train. Like if we're not in the mood for anything, we'll just jump back on to Law and Order. We're in season 16 right now. And then that new one's coming with Miss Christopher Maloney as well. Law and Order something that's about him coming back to tackle organized crime with Dylan McDermott.
Yeah, I don't.
There you go.
I've watched a lot of them and I stopped years ago. It's like The Simpsons. I'm good. I mean, I can go back and watch random Simpsons, but I don't search it out anymore. I've seen them so many times.
Right. I hear you.
Yeah, we'll find something. I don't think Law and Order.
Yeah, it's probably not here.
Well, no, I mean, I liked it a lot back in the day, but I watched like 6-7 seasons of that shit overall.
Yeah.
And you're on 16 and it's nowhere. The end is not in sight, is it?
It's about 4 seasons away, the end, I think. But it's a season. The reason we're watching is because we hadn't seen these 2 seasons. Like separately in our lives, we had not seen these 2 seasons. Mostly because at the time it was Fred Thompson who takes over as the head DA guy, and I wasn't always the biggest fan of him taking over the spot. So I didn't watch it years ago, and neither did she. So we're just working our way through the seasons where he's in charge. He's actually damn good. Yeah. I guess when you're older, you can understand that there's a good political battle that can happen between people who are a little more liberal and people who are a little more conservative. It's actually good to see conversations that happen and then a resolution is found at the end. And I appreciate that now as I'm older,
Okay.
Yeah. Because I like the way it does things. It's a hell of a pickle you're in there, Tom.
Well, I mean, maybe, if you dig it, then maybe the Merlonia one will be good for you. There's always SVU if you didn't watch those. I never watched those.
Yeah, I didn't like SVU, man. I'm not an Ice-T guy. Like, Ice-T can't act, man.
Well,
no offense.
It's him and Belzer, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't mind Belzer because I like Belzer in Homicide, but Ice-T,
it's the same in everything.
Yeah, he is. Right. Belzer's the same in everything. There is no range to Belzer. No. He is very much Belzer.
Hey, babe. Okay. Wear your fucking shades. And I'm not slagging on Belzer. To say the guy has range is a stretch, or at least he's never been offered a project that's really shown his range. Yeah, let's put it that way.
That's a fair point. But Ice-T just overdoes everything. Man, I don't know what's going on here with this crime. And you're just like, that is not acting, man.
It's Ice-T.
It's just not for me, dude.
Yeah.
Anyway, Cube is better than T. Cube is a better actor than T.
Yeah.
No offense to T. Anyway. All right, let's get into our thing here, Matt. We commenced for 18 minutes. Let's jump into our what's our subject for today, my friend?
It is, I guess we'll call it like acting do-overs.
Yeah.
Where the movie, like we think the actor could take what they've learned and go back and actually do that movie better a second time. Now, whether or not you felt like I tried to find movies that were still kind of good overall, and the actor's performance might elevate it to great. But there are some others who are like, they would have really helped to make it better than it was, but it was never going to be super, super duper good.
Yeah.
Type of, I tried to find a little bit of mix. I don't know how you did it.
Me too. I kind of looked at the movies that were not that good, but the actor was good. It was okay or good in it. And then so they could have another shot at it, right? A do-over. It may be in a better movie. This person performs even better with the role, or at least his performance or her performance would match up to what you get. You know what I'm saying? What you get in a better movie. So that's basically it. What inspired us to do this when I was making this, I totally forgot I think it was a question from one of the Topic Thunders.
Yeah, it was. I want to say it was Chris Lemke.
Okay.
And it comes out on this Thursday's show.
Okay. All right. So then we won't spoil it.
We won't. But it was just a different question, but it sparked this conversation. We were like, hey, why don't we do this for a show? It's something different and interesting. So hopefully that's the case. So acting do-overs. So now that you know how we nebulously define this, and you'll figure that as we do the show. We went our separate ways and created individual lists. Show back up here. I do my bottom 3. He does his bottom 3. I do my next 2. He does his next 2. Then we trade one apiece. Once we revealed our personal top 10 list, we create the shows between the two of us. So I'll just jump right in at 10.
Please. Let's do it.
I took Solo and Alden. What is it? Ehrenreich?
Alden Ehrenreich. Yeah.
Because I watched Hail Caesar again in the interim.
Right.
Between, and I've seen Solo more than once. But it's just like, he was one of my favorite parts of that. He is really excellent. I think this guy has the charm that you would need and everything else.
Yeah.
I just don't know that maybe his initial approach to it vibed with me. Let's put it that way.
That's fair.
And I think there's a good movie for me in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Like make a couple different choices, maybe from the script side as well. But I think that guy genuinely has the chops to pull it off. I like the casting when they announced it. Because it's a tough role to fill. Whoa. I just lost John, but yet we are still going. Let's see if he jumps back in. Might have just clicked the wrong link. I don't know. So how did everybody enjoy Golden Ticket, the live final? That was a doozy, wasn't it? That was a doozy. Haven't heard it yet or seen it or experienced it because it's coming up, but it was a doozy. I'm not sure. There we go. He's back in the mix.
Sorry, there have been these weird rolling internet things. Sorry about that. We're good. Yeah,
you pixelated earlier, but you came back after like 15 seconds, so I just let it go.
It's been weird. I think I might switch to business. Apparently, business internet on Spectrum is a little bit more, but the quality is excellent. You get higher upload speeds and download speeds. So I'm like, all right. So maybe I'll explore that because it's starting to be a thing. But yeah, anyway, sorry. Go ahead. Yes, Solo. I was not protesting your decision.
No. Well, right then I was talking about how amazing the Golden Ticket final was.
Hey-o!
And eventually came clean on the fact of, listen, I know it was good. We haven't seen it or experienced it or anything else, but we know it was excellent.
Yeah. Solo's a great choice, by the way. Solo's an excellent choice, man.
Yeah, I just think there's a lot of promise in there. It didn't work for me. I know others that defend it, and God bless you.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the worst thing Star Wars has done.
So no.
That's good.
Oh my God, no. The prequels are the worst. Well, I don't want to. Yeah, anyway.
I don't think the prequels are the worst anymore.
Yeah, what do you think is the worst? Oh, right. Yes, fair. Which will come up on this list actually. So we'll talk.
Oh, interesting.
That. We'll talk about that when we get to it for sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right. Well, that was my 10.
Cool. That's a good choice. All right. What's your 9?
My number 9 is Indiana Jones in the Kingdom of Crystal Skull.
Oh.
And I am choosing the reason I like those two movies are kind of flawed to me. That's why they're at the bottom.
Right.
They're not as good. Just like, but I think Shia LaBeouf.
Oh, so your answer is okay. So it's not Indiana Jones because we are going to get another one. It's Shia LaBeouf doing Mutt again. You think he could do a better job with that? Oh, that's great.
Look,
okay.
I think Harrison Ford, I don't know that he was as dialed in as maybe he should have been. Mm-hmm. Cate Blanchett's choice was interesting. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of across the board. That's why it's number 9.
Yeah.
But LaBeouf showing up is on the waterfront threw me for like that for some reason was just a bridge too far. And the dude is a good actor.
Yes, he is.
He's a really good actor.
Yeah.
Go watch Fury. Go watch Peanut Butter Falcon.
Yeah.
Go watch he has churned out some really the tax collector. He's the best part of that. Not even close. Like I believe he's more Latino than some of the actual Latino actors, and I'm not exaggerating in the slightest. It's really impressive, and I see why he didn't catch a lot of shit from people saying, "Why is this dude doing it?" Because it's like that he lived that. That was honest.
Listen, Latinos respect people who can play us really well. Like Scarface, no one's ever given Al Pacino any shit for that.
Yeah,
it's not a Latino bone in that guy's body, but he did so well with that.
And I know you know the gentleman's name, the non-Latino Maury actor in Training Day.
Clifford Curtis. Clifford Curtis. He's great in Training Day.
It's great in Training Day.
Yeah.
But because I've enjoyed LaBeouf so many times since then, and you see the range that he can bring.
Yeah.
Now looking back even further, because I watched Crystal Skull during the pandemic to fall asleep to. It took 9 days to finish it.
Jesus Christ.
I would make it 10 minutes in and fall asleep. And then I'd pick up at 10 minutes the next night, another 8 minutes type of thing. It puts me to sleep. I'll say that. But there are a few scenes I really do like. Hopefully they do make an Indy 5. I don't want that to be the last thing I see of the character. It's fine if it is, it's not going to denigrate my enjoyment of the series as a whole, but
sure.
I'd love one last romp with him. Anyway, that's my number 9.
Okay. What's your 8?
My number 8 is Ed Norton in The Italian Job.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. I like that movie. I like him in the movie.
So do I.
Yeah.
But if he actually gave a shit while shooting it, think how much better that movie would be. That's why it's fucking 8.
Yeah. Yeah.
He took the job because he was contractually obligated and he was forced to by whichever studio. I do not recall. It was the Primal Fear gig, and he didn't like anything they were offering him. Finally, they said, shit or get off the pot. And he had to take this fucking movie.
Yeah.
And he is, I mean, he's trying.
Yeah, sure.
But it's not it's like, dude, you're too good for this.
Well, you compare what he does as Worm in Rounders to this, and you can see the difference. When he is dialed into playing a villainous character or a pseudo-villainous character.
Yeah, American History X.
He can, sure, definitely. He can channel this menace and this dread. But in this film, he almost feels like, you're right, he's along for the ride.
He's smarmy.
Collecting that paycheck. Yeah.
He's a smug asshole, and you're like, I don't really believe that this prick would have gotten to this unless he had a trust fund.
Right.
Like, I'm just not buying it. Whereas Ed Norton he can pull off the intelligent and wicked simultaneously. And I don't know. I think it's also the backstory of it all these years later, and it influences the way I view it.
Right.
But anyway, so that is my number 8.
That's a great choice, man. I like that one. All right. So my number 10 is Dustin Hoffman in Hook.
Okay.
Because I don't think that's a good movie. I don't like that movie. I think it really is not as, and I know a lot of people are probably listening, throwing they love it, throwing their computers at the wall or whatever. And for me, he's actually the best part of the movie. And this idea of an aging Hook, this idea of an aged Hook who's still trying to hold on to his youth, because to him, like, just like Peter, he doesn't want to grow up either. He wants to stay exactly the age that he's at, but he has grown up and he's got white hair, which you find out when the wig comes off, and you see that he's just a sad man trying to hold on to his youth. Like those guys in their 50s still trying to fit into their high school jackets. And it's like, or Ed O'Neill in Married with Children, like talking about the big pass he threw in the big game. It's that kind of thing, Arrested Development of it all. And I thought the movie didn't do him enough justice. So I would love to see him do it one more time, especially now that he's so much more older. Could he be like the really aged Captain Hook, like sitting like King Conan sitting on his ship, and Peter comes back and Peter reawakens him again, like Joker in the Batman and Dark Knight Returns.
You want a gritty reboot, is what you're saying.
Gritty reboot of Peter Pan. They've done every other fucking version of Peter Pan. Why not a gritty version?
You want Dark Knight?
Yes, I want Dark Knight.
Dark Knight. I think it's an interesting idea. I hadn't I think viewed these movies through that prism of like, there's a cool concept in there, and I'd recast this individual into that cool concept.
Well, they're both stuck in a state of Arrested Development, right? And if you go with the concept of Peter escaping Neverland to go live a real life and get married and have kids and what have you, why would Peter go back? What is it Peter's looking for? As men, Matt, we know this, and other men who are listening, and women as well, I'm sure, as they get older, that sometimes you feel like something's missing, or and you go back to the beginning, or you go back in your past and go like, where is it that I went wrong? Or where is it that I'm missing? What is it? Where's the joy again? You want to find the joy again. And the way Spielberg does it, because he always does it with the lighthearted touch, I think it would be interesting to do a little more grittier, a little more a real world resonant in that approach. And I think Hoffman would be great if he would be allowed to do that kind of Hook in this film. So just my 2 cents.
It's a good call.
All right, my number 9 is obviously George Clooney and Batman and Robin. Not sure if that's a punt, but
no, I think that movie is so dog shit that there's no saving it. Even if to me, it's just like, okay, I want him to go back and kind of like redo the same movie, but you bring a better chops to it.
That's what I'm saying. I think Clooney would get a do-over. I think Clooney in a better director's hands. How can I say this correctly? Because Joel Schumacher's not a bad director. He's actually a damn good director. I think in a better situation, right? Because there was all this pressure from the WB executives to make Joel Schumacher direct a certain type of film so they could make their money. Joel did it to get the bucks and then move on to do other things. So, rest in peace. But like, if another director got their hands again on a grittier Batman, a darker Batman, a more political Batman, That could be interesting because that's Clooney can play that in his sleep, as we saw with Ides of March and Good Night and Good Luck and any number of projects. Syriana, like those are great roles that he plays that explore the political side of things and the gray areas of what's going on. It'd be kind of interesting if you have a detective approach to this, as they say they're going to do with the new one, to have Clooney as this kind of, detective exploring this as Batman, but then also kind of discovering the corruption in Gotham, discovering the gray areas, discovering all this stuff. I think that's more his wheelhouse than what we saw in this I don't know, this explosion of color that we got in Batman and Robin, which is a horrible movie.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we definitely came at this one in totally different mindsets.
Yeah. I just think he'd like to get another shot at this, so that's all.
No, I'm talking about like the way we evaluated our lists. It's like, oh, okay, no, totally. I like everything that you're talking about.
Yeah.
I just didn't recast and redo the story and et cetera, type of thing.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, then my number 8, because I mean, anyway, and my number 8 then is Kevin Costner in as Wyatt Earp in Wyatt Earp. So
okay.
Yeah. Because I think the film itself doesn't do him justice. And as a consequence, his performance as Wyatt Earp is a bit ham-handed. And when you look at him in Open Range, there's a better Wyatt Earp that he can play in a better movie. So if we do this movie again, even with Lawrence Kasdan again, I think you don't make it almost 3 hours fucking long, first of all. And second of all, you really kind of pare down the story and focus on Costner not being caught up in his ego, which he was in this movie. And you bring more of what he brought to Open Range, which is this tortured soul who has killed and lied, which Wyatt Earp did through his actual, if you go and read the actual history of Wyatt Earp, he pulled some pretty nefarious shit with his brothers at times, and explore the actual legend. I think that's a better role, and Costner, I think, would bring what he learned from Wyatt Earp into a better version of the Wyatt Earp that he would do that would resonate a little bit better and make it more of a classic film. Which is, I think, was Kasdan's intention, but didn't really pull it off overall. I mean, not that I'll defend the film over Tombstone, that's for goddamn sure, but it's just not as great of a Western as you want it to be.
Talking about Wyatt Earp, I'm sorry?
Yeah.
I don't know. I always found it kind of, I don't want to say dull.
I think that's fair. A lot of people do.
It's not quite dull.
Right.
Because if you're going to be dull, and so to speak, if you're going to have the drawn out and all that, give me Assassination of Jesse James.
Right.
Because that's it's visually interesting. I'm engaged. The slow pace makes sense for this type of story. Okay. Yeah. Revisiting Wyatt Earp might be, it sounds like an interesting idea.
To see him do it again. Because clearly he's got the skills. And to see Kasdan do it again as well, because Kasdan did Silverado. And that's a fantastic Western, a vibrant Western, and that's a long Western too. I think it's 2 hours and 20. So bring that approach to Wyatt Earp with Costner as Wyatt Earp. I think that works. All right. What's your 7?
Good choice.
Thank you, man. What's your 7?
7 is Thor 2. Can you imagine if Natalie Portman gave a shit in that movie? Just gave a shit at all. In the slightest.
So you're picking actors who look like they didn't care about what they were doing, and
sometimes
you'd like to give them a chance. Oh, so within the mix of the choices is that. Okay, fair.
Sometimes it's like, why did you sign up for this? Do this over. Run this back.
Yeah.
Like you're too good for this.
Right.
And on my side list, there's a bunch of those, but then like one in particular, and it's like, well, that individual was kind of known for doing that over and over and over again. So I don't know if I'm gonna.
Oh, Bruce Willis, yeah.
Well, Bruce, it's tough to find a bad movie where him going back and doing it again would make any sense to me. It's just like, you don't really have a second take for this character, is my guess,
right?
And it is what it is. So be it.
Yeah,
thinking of someone a little bit older, of a different era, so to speak. Anyway, I don't know if it'll make your list, that individual.
No.
Okay.
I agree with you.
Yeah, it was just like, it is the pattern of behavior for the individual. Whereas Natalie Portman, that's what blew me away when they announced she's coming back for
Yeah.
The next Thor, it's like, you did not want to be there throughout that entire movie. And I like Thor Dark World.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
I find it enjoyable, but they have zero chemistry. And I blame that all on her because that dude is nothing but charm and charisma. Go watch Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Like, completely out of his element. If that isn't charm and humor, I mean, it's like Ryan Reynolds light.
Yeah.
And to see just the utter and complete lack, whereas him and Tessa Thompson, Men in Black, not that good a movie, but they have good chemistry. We've seen it in Ragnarok, and between the two of them, they can pull it off. So I'm happy to see that again. Portland, please bring that to the next one.
Yeah.
I hope you care, but if she had just been dialed in to a bunch of those, I think the movie would have elevated from most people, I would assume, viewed as like a C to C minus.
Yeah.
It might elevate it to a B minus.
Or even a, God forbid, a B.
Yeah, maybe even a B, something like that. Whereas I think it's closer to C plus.
Right.
Personally, maybe a B minus, but C plus ish seems about right. And it could bump it up to maybe like a B plus. Oh, they care. There's a love story there. It makes perfect sense. As opposed to when she is rarely have ever spoken of again. She's like, probably for the best. This is good. We should need to move in this direction. Could have been something. I mean, look at Deadpool. Amazing love story.
Yeah.
Both actors cared. So that's my 7.
That's a good choice. I mean, she's coming back to play her again. You imagine because they made her the central focus of the movie now as we're moving forward. Because she's going to be Jane Foster. She's going to have possibly the cancer, and she's going to be carrying the hammer and becoming Thor for a bit. So this is the movement. But I mean, I don't know. It's not like Portman. I mean, it's interesting because I mean, why take it if you're not going to be fully dialed in? And why do it if you're not gonna be fully dialed in? But in the end, they brought her back. Taika's writing a cool script, and we'll see if she comes off with no chemistry again with Hemsworth, then at some point it's like, well, just she doesn't work in these movies, and that's that. We can move on from that. But I know some people felt those characters are a bit underwritten. I totally respect that.
Sure. Yeah. Perhaps, although hers had the chance to actually be well formed, whereas someone like Paltrow, who doesn't appear to give a shit that she's in these movies, she still performs admirably in her scenes. She's got good chemistry with Robert Downey Jr., but afterwards, like I remember after Endgame came out, all the stories and whatnot, Gwyneth Paltrow didn't realize that Sam Jackson was in any of the movies. Yeah,
that was so funny when she said that.
Yeah, and it's just like, but she's still trying in the scenes.
Yeah.
I'll give her that. Like, she may not care. That's her business.
Right.
It's like, Harrison Ford not caring about Han Solo. I know it kills a lot of people on the inside, but he doesn't care. So there's nothing you can do to change that. When somebody asks him about a Force ghost, I don't know what the fuck that is. And you're like, that's really on brand for him. I bet you he does, but he just doesn't want to talk about it.
Of course not. Like,
yeah, exactly. So you can just go, I have no idea. Let's move on.
This guy was a carpenter. He's not going to be like, oh, Force ghosts.
I know. Well, he could. Hey, who knows?
I don't know.
He is an actor deep down, at the end of the day.
True.
He still loves Indiana Jones.
That's true. Well, that's more of a,
it's his.
That seems more of a kind of like a hands-on guy, a guy's guy, so to speak. And Solo's that as well. But when you start dealing with like Force ghosts and Jedi and Sith,
exactly, it's magical.
It moves out of that element of being just
people are flying.
Yeah.
And throwing objects around, through symbiosis.
And using the Force to navigate through space.
And controlling minds. And it's like, there's a lot to digest. And if it's not your cup of tea, I get it.
Yeah, totally.
So I don't know. I hope she doesn't kill the next one. So,
yeah. What's your 6?
My 6 is Jodie Foster and Nell. She's too fucking good. There's an Oscar movie somewhere in there. There really is. That thing was made to win an Oscar. And if she went back and be like, don't give me this give me a different take. Just, you've had the hindsight of now 20 some odd years to know that was a bad fucking choice.
Oh,
make a different choice. You could win an Oscar.
That's incredible.
That's a fucking do-over. Run that back. Let's run that back. That's not good. Exactly. Run it back. Best 2 out of 3. Let's go. It's fucking. She's even if you don't like her, like in Elysium or something like that. It's like she was on set for 2 weeks type of thing. You can't blame her for that.
Yeah.
But when she's dialed in, man, she's always good. And Nell is just one of those of I do not understand. Because at least I Am Sam makes sense. Like I understand, I get the choice he was made. I don't particularly, it's fine. But Nell's was so, I don't know. Just give me another representation of Arrested Development when it comes to speech, because you've been living alone in the instead of taking the lyrical childlike. I would even take in more like animal grunts, because she's had to interact and just like every once and again when she gets upset because she doesn't have the words, but she needs to tell someone to back off. Like that seems more believable than all right. Why is baby talk the only thing she knows? So there's my 6.
I'm sorry.
It's fine.
I haven't thought of that movie in such a long time, dude. Oh, Nell.
Exactly.
Oh, good
early
stuff.
Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
It's like there's a good cast. It's anyway. So that was my 6.
Okay. My 7 then is Mark Strong as Sinestro in Green Lantern.
Okay. All right.
Because I thought he did a good job in the movie, but I think he could do an even better job if they redid the movie with a new Green Lantern. I think it'd be excellent, and Martin Campbell is a damn good director. So this movie is one of those anomalies of his where he makes an occasional bad movie. Because I've really enjoyed his James Bond movie. I think it was Die Another Day that he did. I enjoyed The Foreigner with the Jackie Chan one. That was him.
Sure.
So he's done. I think he did the Mask of Zorro as well, the Zorro film. So like he's done good action movies. He's done good movies. Taika Waititi's even in this movie. So I think Mark Strong as Sinestro is damn good and could be great. One of those villains everyone talks about in the DC universe in another movie. If he had another run at it, I think he'd be more motivated to deliver an even better performance against someone who is going toe to toe with him on the screen. So
sure,
that movie's terrible, but he's good at it.
Yeah, I don't think that movie is that terrible.
Wow.
Well, no, going into it, because I didn't see it in the theater. I saw it when it came out on streaming later on, and it was billed as the worst or one of the worst superhero movies. Yeah. So when you go in with the lowest of low expectations, you're like, I don't know, that seems salvageable. There's something interesting over here. There's it's the worst of all times. Like I've seen some real fucking clunkers. Like to me, Batman and Robin is more egregious.
It's a battle between those two.
Okay.
In my opinion. It's a battle between
them. We're not even including like Catwoman. I don't even consider. It's not even a good movie, superhero movie. It's just a shit idea.
Yeah.
Poorly executed. I don't count that, or Daredevil, or
Daredevil, yeah.
The offshoot, Elektra, yeah. Fucking dog shit. Those are worse to me.
Yeah, there's nothing redeemable about those movies.
No, they're terrible.
Yeah. I considered Colin Farrell for a little bit because he plays, was it Killshot in that movie?
Yeah, but the movie's just everybody needs to be kind of recast in that.
Yeah. Start over.
Whereas I'm just trying to find like one, like they're better than this. Yeah. That was how I tried to do it. Although I do like yours of brought him back and then maybe slightly tweaked a little here, a little there, but roughly the same. It's like, okay, I like that too.
Could make it better. All right, then my number 6 is Olivia Wilde in Tron Legacy.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think the movie is visually incredible.
Sure.
But I think Olivia Wilde's performance is good, but I also think they don't give her much to play with because Garrett Hudlin is doing his mumblecore shit, and then you have Jeff Bridges doing Lebowski, and then his Clue, which is the Uncanny Valley character of his. It just feels so weird when you're watching it.
Okay.
And these like crazy things like Michael Sheen and the whole like playing the guitar, like all of it is just, it's visually incredible to look at, but there's no soul to the movie.
Sure.
So I think I think Olivia Wilde does what she can, but I think if you put her in a movie with a little bit more oomph, a little bit more depth, a little bit more of something to say, and then you tell Jeff, no, you're not doing Lebowski. That's not what Flynn would turn into, because he's a cerebral guy, not a fucking hippie. Then you look at something else here. You can explore something, and I think Olivia Wilde's performance gets even better if in that situation. You know, I don't think she mailed it in. Obviously, I thought she was good, but I think she didn't bring what she can really bring to a role,
Sure.
which I've seen before. And obviously, she's a damn good director as well. A lot of people like that film she did last year, and so or 2 years ago, I guess. And so, like, I would just like to see more. Booksmart, but she did. So I would just like to see more in that situation, and the film to be better as well. For
Yeah,
God's sakes.
I think I would choose Garrett Hedlund first in that instance.
Deliver better performance.
I think he can. I think he's got it in him.
All
yeah.
right.
You see Mudbound?
I've not seen Mudbound, but I saw Inside Llewyn Davis, and he bored me to tears in that small role he had.
That fucking movie bored me to tears.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Matt, I don't know why people
good.
love that movie, dude. I
don't either.
Right? Like, people talk about it like it's some kind of modern classic. I'm like, what are you talking about? That movie's so fucking boring. It goes nowhere.
It's I don't know. It's so un-Cohen-like.
Right?
Because even their like slice of life movies, there's still something. And the end of that, I was like, this is getting nominated or talked about.
Yeah.
Because it's the Coens.
I've watched it 2 more times since I saw it in the theater, because I'm just like, it's a Criterion collection. Like, am I missing something?
I don't think
watched
you are.
it, and I'm like, no, there's nothing. It's really just so fucking boring. This is a guy who's a bum. He's a fucking bum who's an idealistic bum living off everybody and not doing anything. And I don't mean bum as in like the derogatory term. I mean, like, he's a person who's literally bumming off other people to live and judging other people at the same time through some idealistic window, yet not, turning that onto himself, and so, and then when he gets that opportunity with F. Murray Abraham, you're like, you don't even fucking earn this opportunity, man. You don't even deserve this opportunity. And I'm glad he kind of like shuts you down. So I don't know. I don't get why people like this movie as much. Yeah,
I agree. I agree.
All right. So that was my number 6. What's your number 5, man?
My Cinco is Alexander. And I chose Colin Farrell.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Because if you could take everything that he's learned, in the interim from Alexander till now, he's been in so many movies that you and I both are huge, huge fans of.
Yes, yes.
He's done a tremendous amount of work where, much like any, handsome individual on that level, to show that they have depth and they're not just a pretty face, I know is something they strive for. I would assume, at least on the outside looking in.
Right.
And he's proven that. And so to go back, because I don't know. I think the movie as a whole is flawed, but I don't think he could carry the weight of who Alexander was and the tremendous life that he lived in that short amount of time at the age he was when he made it. So if he can somehow take the knowledge that he's learned, and Alexander was in his early 30s when he died. Colin Farrell's, I think, early mid 40s right now. So by Hollywood math, he can still play 33. So you could pull off and maybe have to do a slight de-aging when he's younger and takes the throne and all that stuff. Hopefully that doesn't get a little too creepy. But I don't know. I think there's a super interesting movie that could be done. And by your formula, it's like, oh, okay, go back in, cut down what you don't, see as the flaws from the previous, and kind of streamline this and tell a different but slightly better story. But yeah, I don't know. I want that movie to work every time I watch it.
Yeah.
And it just really doesn't. It just misses the mark at a few different spots, and be like, man, if he was what he is now, I think he could pull that off. But I don't know if I can blame him for the movie not quite working for me.
Yeah, Oliver Stone at some point. It's just like, it's a law of diminishing returns with his career as he goes on, to be honest with you. So, and even if you go back sometimes and watch the old ones, Matt, I don't feel their power like I used to,
No.
I don't know.
Platoon does diddly for me now.
Yeah, man. Agreed. Like I watched JFK, an hour of JFK the other day. I think it was like 3 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I was just like, I used to love this film. Like I saw this film like 6 times.
I never liked it.
Really? Oh man, I loved it.
Natural Born Killers, I'm still a fan of.
Really? Oh, I can't stand it. Oh God, I can't.
But but I could only watch it every it's got to be a while in between.
There's a lot in that movie.
Yeah, it's a lot to digest.
Yeah,
but I still enjoy that. Last time I saw it, which was within the last 5 years.
Maybe I should revisit it. It's been a long, long time since I've seen. Never was a Juliette Lewis fan after Cape Fear. I really didn't enjoy her that much in any of the films that she was in. So
yeah,
I just was like, about that one. But yeah, but I bought like the compendium with the JFK compendium with all those like with his like his behind the scenes stuff. Like I just devoured it. And now I watch it. I'm like, oh wow, this is not that good of a movie, you know. But Wall Street still holds. I'll always love Wall Street.
I would cut all the Daryl Hannah stuff.
Yeah, that's fair. Totally fair.
So it doesn't fully work.
Yeah. Well, maybe that could be one. We could throw Wall Street on there. Daryl Hannah doing a better job in that movie. I mean, because when you see her in frickin' Kill Bill, she clearly can bring it when she's allowed to bring it. You know,
I don't even think that aspect of the storyline needed to exist.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Maybe it does.
Well, she represents this, the sexual indulgence of the rich. You know,
True.
He can essentially get a hot woman that he normally wouldn't get because he's got money. At least that's the
trappings of the 80s.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, maybe. But anyway.
Yeah. That was your 5.
That was my 5.
My 5 is Denzel Washington in Mo Better Blues, the Spike Lee film.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of those films that, because I'm a jazz fan, and I when they said Spike Lee was going to do this film, and it's jazz, and it's Denzel, and it's Wesley Snipes, and I walked in and I was like, oh man, here we go. Give me this. And I'm watching it, and I'm like, I don't know what Denzel is doing in this movie. I don't know what he's trying to create here, but it's not working. And I think if he could do it again, I think it'd be a completely different thing. This was at the time when Denzel's like, he's riding high, man. He is indulging his ego a little bit. He's certainly great at what he does as an actor. So, and this is Spike just letting him go.
Yeah.
And you could almost argue it's a jazz of a performance, except it's a solo that kind of like goes off and doesn't connect back to the overall piece. And people begrudgingly clap at the end of the solo, as opposed to like, yeah, that was great. That's what I feel like is
how I felt about the movie.
Yeah, exactly. So like, I think if you do it again, and Spike too, if he directs it now with a little more retrospect or a little more age on him with Denzel performing, I think you get a way better performance from Denzel Washington and way more poignant scenes than you think. Same thing with Jungle Fever. I feel like Jungle Fever, I think Wesley does a great job in Jungle Fever, but I think Spike doesn't direct the right movie around him and Annabella Shore. I think they both are great, but I think Spike indulges too much of his, let me hammer the point.
I've never
that one.
It's fine.
Right.
Anyway,
for all you young filmmakers listening to us, this is the trap. Once you achieve success or you get your first taste of it with your first movie, just in case anybody listening to it, do not indulge your do not indulge your ego. Never forget that you're still hungry. Never forget that you're always one movie away from losing it all. So that will keep you working harder. You start to indulge your fantasies or your fetishes or whatever, you're going to ruin the fucking movie. So that's my opinion.
True. But the golden age of Scorsese, he was coked out of his mind. So there's different strokes for different folks, man. It works for some, it doesn't for others.
Well, that's also why we got New York. So like, don't do that.
Yeah, it's inherent in the business. You're going to make clunkers if you do this on a long enough timeline. Nobody makes a perfect movie every time.
It's true.
Even if you love the director, it's like, I don't know.
Yeah. It's a fair point. All right. So what's your 4, my man?
My number 4 is Sally Fields in Lincoln.
Oh, okay.
I love the movie. You
Yes,
know I
I
love
know
the
you do.
movie.
I know you do, man.
And there's a reason Sally Field has been beloved within American pop culture for now going on 50 years.
Yeah.
And her performance is so over the top. It's weird. It's like she's doing a stage play and they're doing a movie.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't fit to me. And this is me who's never acted ever in my life. Like, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But just watching it, of like, man, you're an excellent actress.
Yeah.
I've understood since a kid why you were famous. It's like, I don't know, she just seems so nice. Sometimes it makes sense, and then other times you see people on game shows from back in the day, and like, who was this person?
Right.
And it's like, I don't know, they did game shows a lot. You're like, wow, that's a subdivision of celebrity, apparently.
It's true.
Yeah, it is. But it's, I don't know, juxtaposed against, and there's even other over the top kind of portrayals in there, but their parts are so much smaller, and I still feel like they're performing in a movie and she's in a play. And that's what it's always struck me as. She's playing to a back row that can hear her just fine.
Yeah.
And just the over the top, look at the people all lined up to see my husband because they love. And it's just this sing-songy type of woe is me. It's like,
yeah,
I don't know. It's to some degree the living embodiment of I've got the vapors. It's not quite that Southern Belle, but it's like the same, waving a fan in front of your face at all times type of, like, this doesn't exist in movies really anymore.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that is my 4. She's too fucking good. And I already love that movie.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree with you. I think, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I still think I couldn't get past the age difference in the casting. And I'm not against, obviously, older women with younger men. I don't give a shit. Like, I don't care about that stuff. But it is so obvious, the age difference between them, that it doesn't make sense, especially because Mary Todd wasn't significantly older than Abraham. So to me, it's just like, all right. Yeah. All right. So anyway, then my number 4. Oh, this is tough for me. I want to make sure I walk the line here correctly. Is Daisy Ridley in the sequel trilogy. And hear me out. The reason I say that is not because she didn't do a good job. I thought she was the best. I thought she was great in Force Awakens. But throughout the next 2 movies, there's not that thing that you want to have. And I think the films betray her. I think both Ryan and JJ betray the potential of what this character can be in both of those films, and instead focus on building up Kylo. And it is such a undercutting of Rey and undercutting of Daisy Ridley that it infuriates the hell out of me when I watch those last 2 films. That's why I can't love The Last Jedi or Rise of Skywalker the way some people do. I do claim that like the first 45 minutes of Last Jedi is terrible, but the rest of it is some of the best Star Wars I've ever seen. That's not because of Daisy. It's not because of Daisy. And same thing with the last one, right? Did we see the same movie? I think so. What do you like? Last Jedi?
45 is bad? Just the first 45?
Oh, well, fair. You can definitely have your issues with the rest of the movie. I'm not gonna
pretty much all of it. I can find scenes the entire way through on that one and be like, I don't like this.
I don't like this. And I don't like this.
This doesn't make sense. Why is this happening? You set up this thing over here and the payoff seems weird.
Oh, I don't disagree with you on that, man. There's definitely a lot of issues with the movies, but that's what I mean. Like if you had started to focus on the journey of Rey instead of caring about redeeming Kylo through those last 2 movies, then we would have had a completely different situation. And I think that's what I feel so frustrated about when I watch these last two movies, because I'm just like, she is an excellent character. Let's explore that. Let's explore her beginnings. Let's explore what's going on there. And Daisy does the best she can with what she's given, but she's so capable of more that it frustrates you when you're watching it. So I love, because this is acting do-overs, I'd love to have her come back and do it again, either in the same movies with a different director or the same director, so there's a cohesive storyline between the two films, all three really, or to come back and do it for a new director and watch her kick ass in the role without having to worry about redeeming a petulant emo child, which is what I think Kylo is, a petulant emo teenager. So I think it denigrates her and undercuts her performance and what she's trying to do, because she's just constantly, I mean, the rocks moment, all of that is just like, what are we doing here?
There's too many to count.
True. All right. What's your number 3, my man?
My 3 is Beverly Hills Cop 3, Eddie Murphy.
Oh.
There's 1 and 2 are both good, and I can watch them. They could exist independently of one another. And I would still think it's just as good, much like Lethal Weapon. 1 and 2 could exist independently of one another.
Yeah.
And they'd still both be successful. But the third Beverly Hills Cop, I don't know. He never looked like he cared. And I think it reflected in how weird and lazy the story felt too. I mean, basically it's just like a Machiavellian Walt Disney. And before it's like, what is going on? Whereas before it's, you had the serial robber that was going around, like a big high kind of stakes crime that killed or almost killed the police captain.
Yeah.
And the second one, and in the first one, it's his friend that's dying. And in this one, it's like, what if Mickey Mouse's creator was evil? And it's all the stupid characters. And I just think he took the paycheck and read the script and was like, whatever. And I don't know. It was like the beginning of the decline of Eddie. Didn't seem like he wanted to show up to do movies anymore and just wanted the paycheck.
Yeah.
And there's like a few movies in a row, which is like, what is going on here? You were the king.
Yeah.
And the king is falling. So yeah, it's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
I enjoy the first two so much. And the third one to me is not quite Godfather 3, but I don't watch it.
Oh man, it is bad, dude. And
it is.
The humor is played terribly. I mean, just terribly, dude. And you're just like, what is happening here, man? What are you trying to create here? This makes no sense to me.
It doesn't. And you don't even have the full gang back together for this one.
Right.
It's like, it's an easy thing to do.
It's Landis and him as well. But it's like Rocky V. They brought back John G. Avildsen, who was the director of the first Rocky.
Yeah.
And it was just terrible. Absolutely terrible. So, yeah.
I don't know. So I want to see Eddie come back. Hopefully coming to America.
Yeah. Have you seen the trailers? What do you think about it? They just dropped the second trailer.
I saw the first one.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll be intrigued if they can pull this off. I don't know if this is a premise that you can revisit. Right. Not to say that Eddie couldn't do the work, but it's him and Arsenio, and we haven't seen Arsenio in forever.
It's true.
And
he looks the same, though. He looks like he hasn't fucking aged.
Yeah.
I know black doesn't crack, but god damn, like seriously. I just was shocked at how good he looks, man. Eddie looks older than he does.
Well, Eddie is older than him by a few years.
Is it? All right.
But Arsenio is much lankier.
Right.
So Eddie's starting to carry the old man skinny kind of look.
Yeah. That skinny fat look.
Yeah. It's like you can still tell he's in shape, but it's an old guy. Like, you're going to put on weight regardless. It's one thing that we both have to come to terms with. It's like inevitably my metabolism is slowing down as it slowly crawls to death. Thanks, buddy. So I'm going to have to work twice as hard now.
Thanks, pal.
Thanks. Exactly. I thought we were in this together. And apparently, like, you're in it for, a while.
Yeah. Truth.
So that's my 3.
All right. Sorry. My 3 is Amelia Clark in Terminator Genesis. I think she's capable of better, And that film really doesn't do her justice. And her performance is not that good in the film. And I like her in Game of Thrones. I think she's incredible in Game of Thrones.
Find me a movie she's been incredible in that I've seen.
Problem.
That I've seen. But
yeah, right. And that's the issue. So what is happening when we're transferring from TV into movies? What is the issue that we're getting wrong? Even though I like Last Christmas, I know I'm one of 5 people that likes that movie. Yeah. But like, I don't understand what is happening in the transition here. And I think she was a great choice for Sarah Connor because she's fucking Daenerys in Game of Thrones. It's a great choice. Mm-hmm. And somehow that film, and Jai Courtney's not good in the film either. No offense to Jai Courtney, I think, who I really like. But like the whole film itself is just like, what the fuck? And I think if she had another run at it with maybe another director making that film, I think she's would be stellar in that movie. And we're in our 3rd Terminator installment in the franchise with her taking over as Sarah Connor. Even though, and I will defend it, I saw it again the other night on Amazon Prime. Mm-hmm. Terminator Dark Fate is a goddamn good movie, ladies and gentlemen. I don't give a fuck what anyone else says. I like that movie a lot, and I enjoy Schwarzenegger. That's the only time I've enjoyed him in a Terminator film since Terminator 2. So I just I like that movie. So it's never going to get a sequel, but I like it. Yeah.
So do I. I don't know. I don't know if that movie is salvageable because the plot is also. It's like they had that Matt Smith storyline that they apparently, clearly cut, just straight up cut.
Right.
And Lucas doesn't really pay off for me as a villain.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot to work on in that movie to me. But
yeah, I think her performance, we're talking about do-overs. I'd like to have her, I would have loved to have her do a do-over as Sarah Connor because I think she'd have brought the fire and the thunder and in a better situation. So that's why it's my number 3.
Yeah, all right, it's not a bad way to look at it. My deuce.
Yeah, which deuce
is Les Mis with Russell Crowe.
That was in contention for me. I had it on the side list, and I was like, would it be a better performance even if he had another shot at it? He's arrogant enough to not change it. That's why I don't know if I'd give him credit that he would do it.
He is, but I think any actor that's been 20 years now, an A-lister, you're going to be arrogant. And he's also been humbled because the highs haven't been the same as they were the previous 10 years.
Yeah. Good point.
And I have nothing against Russell Crowe. I think he's, an excellent actor.
Yes.
He takes you out of every scene he's in, and he's got the presence to play the character. He can pull off the demeanor. He executes the lines when it just the interactions, and he's got the intimidating just stare where you feel the respect that he commands.
Yep.
And he's got a great chemistry with Hugh Jackman and fits the mold of everything I'm looking for. It's just the singing is so off at times. It's jarring because everybody else is so really good.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen Hugh Jackman sing before, but I knew that he had musical theater background.
Yes.
So I wasn't shocked by that. But Anne Hathaway, I didn't know could sing that well.
Right. She sang really, really well.
And Amanda Seyfried?
Yes. Yeah.
Didn't know she could sing. And Eddie Redmayne, I knew of at that time. I'd seen a couple things he was in. And I was like, oh, this dude can sing. This dude's got range.
Right.
It's like across the board, surprise and then it's filled with actors I'm sure that they plucked out of, he's in the touring company of this and he's really good or she is really good or whatever the case is.
Right.
But, oh, man. And I like the movie a lot. I think it's very successful. I think it could be flat out, maybe my favorite musical.
Wow.
In the discussion. I don't watch a lot of musicals, so I don't have much to compare it to. If you're talking about technically Hamilton, I guess.
Yeah.
Or,
yeah.
The Demon Barber of Fleet Street.
Yeah, Sweeney Todd. Yeah.
And a couple others, but I don't really watch all that many. So that's my deuce.
I love movie musicals, but like I couldn't stand that movie, man. They sang the whole movie. It just kind of
Les Mis.
Yeah, it just doesn't work for me. Like have a conversation without song, for God's sakes. And just for me, I guess the play is that way. I've never seen the stage musical, so yet it's 3 hours long. But
it's good.
yeah, that's what I hear. That's what I hear. So maybe that's maybe that's the way into this musical. I do like some of the songs. I mean, I Dreamed a Dream is a fantastic song. But like I didn't like the movie at all. And he was terrible. He claims that he didn't know that they were using the recordings on set.
Well, that's right. I forgot about that.
As the actual recordings. And everyone's like, that's bullshit. Like everyone else fucking knew. And somehow you don't tell your arguably your second co-lead that his songs that he sings are what they're going to use in the movie, the audio on set as he's doing the role.
Yeah. You have to know beforehand.
Yeah, it's bullshit. No agent or manager at that level worth their salt would fuck over the client like that. Would allow that to happen. So
no director.
Yeah, true. No director. Absolutely.
Because you're going to want to work with other A-list actors again. So if they find out it's like, he kind of threw me under the bus on this, then everybody else will be like, well, fuck them.
Yeah.
Or not, maybe not everybody else, because Jackman and Hathaway will sing his praises. But
yeah.
What if he wanted to go out and get somebody else that is atypical and you don't anticipate to be in a musical like that?
Yeah, yeah.
For some reason, Bruce Willis was the first thing that came to mind.
Yeah.
Well, he's also been in bands, at least Russell was the lead singer.
He was.
Yeah, I don't know if Bruce ever went in for the actual lead singing.
I think he was of his own band, the Bruno, whatever he released that album, that CD or whatever, Return to Bruno or whatever, where he was the lead of the band. He was like, what the fuck is going on here, man?
Yeah.
Once again, hubris.
Right. That's my deuce.
Yeah. But there's a great, Russell can sing. There's a great black and white video that was released right at the beginning of COVID last year where he sang with this other Broadway actor a song, the back and forth. And I was like, why didn't you fucking do that in the movie? Because that was excellent. And I retweeted it on my Twitter. Like, this is what we should have gotten from Javert, I think his name is. So, all right. Anyway, that's your two. So then my two is a bit of a cheat. So if you make me choose one, I can choose one if you need me to. But my choice is Colin Farrell and Jamie Foxx in Miami Vice.
I put Colin Farrell down. It's on my side list.
Ah, yeah.
Colin Farrell from Miami Vice.
Because, all right, so I can go with that. I can go with just Colin.
I don't care. Yeah, that's fine.
Because, like, Colin is as we said earlier, Matt, on one of your choices, is a goddamn good actor. But you can tell in this movie, he wants to fuck up Jamie Foxx the whole time he's on screen with him. Like, he wants to undercut him. He doesn't want to have chemistry with him. Those two are constantly dick measuring the whole time as they're performing, and it is super frustrating because I think Michael Mann directed a goddamn good movie. It's just these two guys apparently had chemistry issues, and it's so evident when you're watching the movie that they both do not like working together, and they're both trying to one up the other in quote unquote badassery with their looks and their mumbles and their, eyes. Everything's so super intense. And I think if Colin Farrell had another shot at playing Sonny Crockett again, we'd be, again, like I said earlier, we'd be maybe in our third or fourth installment of a Miami Vice movie. If he and Jamie Foxx had chemistry or actually liked each other as well, it would be interesting because Colin doesn't strike me as an asshole kind of guy. I could kind of see Jamie Foxx be a bit of an a-hole. So there's something there that happened between them.
Sure.
That's evident. So I think Colin had another shot at this. He'd kill it because I like the movie despite their issues. I like the movie.
Yeah, I don't like the movie. And I think that's why I kept it off. I was like, I don't know, maybe, but I think you'd have to recast Jamie Foxx. I was trying to just be like, one individual come back and everything else maybe stays the same, but that's why I couldn't. It's like, is he? I don't know. It just felt so weird now seeing all the other stuff that he's done. You never really made cool guy movies.
Yeah.
And even though you are ostensibly cool guy,
he can play it.
He can.
Yeah.
But you never really played it on in movies.
Yeah.
Maybe I wasn't used to it. I don't know. I just didn't enjoy it.
It's a good question. Has he ever been a cool guy in a movie?
Just a straight cool guy? No, I mean, technically you could say like Seven Psychopaths because he lives in Hollywood and he wants to be a writer. Right. You know, he's a struggling screenwriter, but he doesn't. It's not really. He's the coolest guy. He's. I haven't made it Hollywood cool.
Right. Even in The Gentleman, he's a cool character, but he's not a cool guy necessarily. I never saw Widows. Did you ever see Widows? Is he a cool guy in that?
Well, yeah, Widows isn't about that, so no.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense. He tried to be a cool guy in Total Recall. That didn't really work.
I guess.
Yeah, I think you might be right here. Yeah, he hasn't really played a cool guy. The New World, he's tortured. SWAT, maybe SWAT. I don't recall. Oh, Bullseye is what he was in Daredevil. Sorry for anyone thinks I said when I said Kill Shot. Sorry, guys. Yeah, interesting. Okay. Okay, so that was what your two, my two. So it's here. We're up to your one. What's your one?
My one is what sparked this discussion in the first place. So I just threw it at number one, which is Venom, Tom Hardy.
Yeah. It's not my one, but okay.
Yeah, I just don't. In no way do I buy him as an investigative journalist. It's just weird from Tom Hardy, where there's not a single thing that I can think of that I've seen him in that I didn't like, or at least understand the decision that he made to portray that character. Whereas Eddie Brock in this, it just makes sense to me. Once he morphs into Venom, that kind of attitude makes sense.
Yeah.
But as a, quasi-famous investigative underground journalist that the public knows about, like a gritty Michael Moore type of thing, where he's exposing. I couldn't think of another Morgan Spurlock, like the random individual from that genre's name that you know.
Yeah. What are you telling me? What are you trying to tell me here? Yeah. It's bad.
Yeah, it is, and it just seems like a weird choice. And he's an excellent actor, and the reason it was how we got this conversation started. So I was like, I'll just throw that at number one. It works for me.
Yeah, that's fair. Totally.
We talk about that more on Thursday's Topic Thunder. So tune in to Topic Thunder all Thursday.
Well, I kept it off the list because he's going to do another one. So he's going to get a shot at playing the character again. So I didn't keep it on the list for that reason, but totally get it. If he could go back, I would vote for him to go back and do Venom again, that particular movie, Venom, the first Venom, and see if he can come up with something better than what he came up with for Eddie Brock. Because you're right. You don't think he's an investigative journalist at all. He looks like a cub reporter. Yeah, meathead. He looks like a cub reporter on the New York Post who's like 10th in line to get a story. He does not radiate this guy who seems intelligent or seems able to handle the situation. And when Venom takes a hold of him, he's just so scared the whole time. You just don't buy that necessarily.
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah, I agree. That's a great point, actually. Okay, so then my number one is Mickey Rourke in Iron Man 2.
It's on my side list. I thought about it.
I mean, that is just the movie is not bad, by the way. It's just him is like you're coming off The Wrestler, and what you see here, ladies and gentlemen, is once again an actor who indulges his impulses, and you don't have a director who's like, don't fucking do that. I almost put John Malkovich on this list for Rounders, but it's such an iconic performance.
I kind of like it.
Yeah, exactly. You can't take it off. It's so good.
Yeah.
But like in this situation, he is trying to make a memorable character, but he's indulging these impulses that make it cheesy. And I think maybe Mickey's like, oh, it's a comic book movie. I don't have to really, plumb the depths of this thing. And it's like, no, if you brought that wrestler mentality to this character,
that's why they hired you.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you'd have been incredible in this movie, and maybe even been the reason why people liked this movie or salvaged the movie in a way, because a lot of people don't like Iron Man 2 at all. And that would have been exciting for you to do and would have kept going this renaissance of your career. Because people forget when Mickey first started, Mickey was doing some great fucking work. It wasn't until the 90s that he started falling off and then indulging in a lot of shit off camera. And so it could have been a great another renaissance, but of course now he's forgotten and he's back to doing straight to DVD movies, and it's a fucking shame because he's a goddamn talented actor.
He'll get another shot.
Yeah, maybe
He will.
He's
just inevitably he'll become even more like older and grizzled, and he'll get some sort of something or other.
I mean, I watched The Wrestler again like a month ago, and you watch it and then you watch this and you're like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Like, just bring that, you know?
I just don't go back to watch 2 or 3.
Yeah.
I don't. So it's like, that's why I left it off. I was like, I don't really care. There's so many others within that universe. I don't care. Although fair. That being said, do I really care about Nell? No, but there's.
It's a good choice though.
She's too fucking good. It's like, what are we doing here? Anyway, whereas I can understand what I understood. Not the choices he made.
Yeah.
It's like it wasn't so illogical.
Right.
It might have worked, but it didn't. It's part of an overall kind of forgettable movie to me.
Yeah. All right. Well, there's our separate top 10 lists of the actors who should get a do-over and actresses who should get a do-over. Here, we're going to compile this list. We had nothing in common, so this is one of those rare moments where I think we'll just go down the line and have little mini debates or coin flips to figure this out quickly.
Why don't we just do this? We'll do that for one, and then whoever
alternate.
Whoever lost, then their 2 gets the higher precedent.
That works.
Then we'll go back and flip, and the other person gets a 3. So if you want to flip on the first one, I'm fine, and that'll just set chains in the motion.
All right.
Here we go. Flipping now. All right. So it's Iron Man 2.
Oh, a rare win. Keep
singing that tune. Party. What's your 2?
Colin Farrell and Jamie. Well, let's say Colin Farrell and Miami Vice. We'll leave him with Jamie Foxx out of it. Rosining up the bow on these bongos. Shout out to Jonathan Goldeneyes, who's still listening to this. These bongos, thank you.
All right, so then my deuce would be Les Mis. Okay. 3, which is Eddie Murphy.
Okay.
What were your 3?
Emilia Clarke in Terminator Genesis.
All right. So what's your 4?
My 4 is Daisy Ridley in the sequel trilogy.
All right. So I have Sally Field and Lincoln. That was my 4. So then my 5 would be Colin Farrell twice on this list.
Ooh, all right.
Alexander.
Unless you want to move someone else up to take that slot's up to you.
All right, let's do that since he's already been on here once. The next one was Jodie Foster and Nell.
She made the list.
All right, so what's your 5?
Denzel in Mo Better Blues.
All right, good to go.
Cool. All right, here we go. The top 10 acting do-overs. Yeah. At number 10.
Denzel Washington in Mo Better Blues.
At number 9.
Jodie Foster and Nell.
At number 8.
Sally Fields and Lincoln.
At number 7.
Daisy Ridley in the sequel trilogy.
At number 6.
Emilia Clarke, Terminator Genesis.
At number 5.
Eddie Murphy in Beverly Hills Cop 3.
At number 4.
Russell Crowe for Les Mis.
At number 3.
Colin Farrell in Miami Vice.
At number 2.
Tom Hardy, Venom.
And our number 1 acting do-over is
Mickey Rourke for Iron Man 2. There it is.
Gotta love it. There it is.
There's the show. Well, we hope you enjoyed the live golden ticket. The next live show we have coming up is going to be the main show. It's for patrons only at the $10 and above tier. So if you haven't joined, and by this point, by the time you hear it, you can join for next month's, and we're going to, so long as this first one goes well, we're going to start trying to do 2 a month.
Yeah.
So you can be a part and watch those shows over with us there. And you can also participate in Topic Thunder and everything else that we do. And our thanks to everybody that supports us over at patreon.com/DCTV. facebook.com/the top 10 with the number 10. You can follow me anywhere at Matt Nost, and check out Settle the Score or Dropping Dimes if you're into basketball.
There you go. Follow me at The Roca Says on Twitter and on Instagram. Don't forget, we got our YouTube channel as well. That's where hopefully you saw the final of Golden Ticket. If not, go and subscribe to that as well. And then, all the stuff I've got going on, just follow me at The Roca Says on Twitter and on Instagram. If you want to come to my YouTube, it's youtube.com/John Roca Says. We just crossed 15,400 subscribers, so marching forward. So please give it some love, give it some likes, and come and see some WandaVision reviews as well on the channel. All right, much love to everybody. Thank you all so much for being a part of the top 10, and we will talk to you next time on another brand new episode just for you.